Picture this. You're standing in the middle of the vast, icy world of the Arctic. It is stunningly beautiful, almost silent, and it's home to one of the most powerful predators on the entire planet. So today, we're going to tackle a really important question. What do you do if you come face to face with its undisputed heavyweight champion, the polar bear?
All right, let's put you right there in the moment. You're out on the ice, and then you see it. A massive white shape, and it's moving your way. Your heart starts hammering in your chest. Every single instinct you have is screaming at you to turn around and just run for your life. But is that really the right thing to do? Let's find out.
Okay, first things first. If you want to survive an encounter like this, you have got to understand what you're dealing with. And let me tell you, a polar bear is a true heavyweight, an animal perfectly, and I mean perfectly, designed for its world. We're talking about a seriously big animal here. A fully grown male polar bear can weigh up to 1,500 pounds. To put that in perspective, that's like taking the entire offensive line of a football team and packing all that power into one single predator. And what happens if one stands up on its hind legs? Well, it can tower over you at more than 10 feet tall. I mean, just try to picture that for a second. That sheer size is the very first thing you have to respect. So let's circle back to that gut feeling, that instinct to run. Well, a polar bear can hit a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour. That's about 25 miles per hour. That is faster than the fastest human sprinter on the planet. The bottom line is simple. You are not going to outrun it, period. And these guys are just perfectly built for the cold. It's amazing, really. Their white fur is obvious, right? Perfect camouflage. But get this. Underneath, their skin is jet black to soak up every little bit of the sun's heat. They've even got fur on the bottom of their paws for extra grip on the ice and for warmth. They're so comfortable in the water that they're actually classified as marine mammals. Okay, so now we get the bear. Let's go back to that terrifying moment. You've seen each other, your mind is racing, and this right here is where you'll make the single most critical decision of your life. This quote just nails that feeling, doesn't it? That feeling of absolute, pure panic. And look, it's a totally natural, primal instinct. It's supposed to save us from danger. But in this one very specific situation, listening to that instinct is a catastrophic mistake. Let me say that one more time, because this could literally save your life. Running is the absolute worst thing you could possibly do. And here's the really crucial reason why. A polar bear is, by nature, a curious animal. When it first sees you, it's just trying to figure out what is that thing. The moment you run, you instantly change from being this weird, unknown object into something that looks exactly like a fleeing seal, which happens to be its favorite food. You trigger its chase instinct. You basically scream, "I'm prey." So if running is off the table, what should you do? It's time to open up the survival playbook. And it's all about one thing: de-escalating the whole situation. You need to show that bear you are not a threat, and you are definitely not its next meal. Okay, pay close attention to these steps. Number 1, stand your ground. Fight every urge to run and try to look calm. Take a deep breath. Next, speak. Use a low, calm voice. It doesn't even matter what you say. You could talk about the weather, recite a song lyric, anything. The sound of a human voice helps the bear realize you're not an animal and recognizes as food. Then, gently wave your arms. This makes you look bigger and breaks up that seal-like silhouette. And finally, if the bear isn't coming any closer, you can start backing away, slowly. And whatever you do, never, ever turn your back. And this, right here, is the core of the strategy. You are not trying to scare this massive animal. You're not trying to challenge it. You are simply trying to communicate, hey, I'm a human, I'm not food, and I'm not here to cause any trouble. Now, you've probably heard a lot of advice about what to do in a bear encounter, right? But here's the thing. Not all bears are the same. What might work for one species could be a fatal mistake with another. So let's debunk a huge myth. You know the old advice, play dead? And look, if you're dealing with a grizzly bear, that can sometimes be an effective last resort. But for a polar bear? No, never. You never ever play dead. Polar bears are also scavengers, which means if you lie down and pretend you're dead, you're just making yourself look like a super easy free meal. That's a critical, life-saving distinction, and just a few other really important things to keep in mind. The good news is, humans are not on their normal menu. They're mostly just curious. Also, things like bear spray and flare guns,
They require some serious training to use right, and you could actually make the situation way worse if you don't know what you're doing. And of course, if you do manage to get to safety, the very first thing you do is call the local wildlife officers. They're the experts.
So we've gone through the whole playbook of what to do during an encounter, but the single most powerful survival tool you have is something you use long before you ever see a bear. It's an attitude. And that attitude is respect. Plain and simple. The absolute best way to survive a polar bear encounter is to use your awareness, your knowledge, and your common sense to make sure it never happens in the first place. Respect isn't just about being afraid. It's the wisdom of knowing you're a visitor in their world and giving them a wide, wide berth. So, the ultimate takeaway from all of this is pretty simple. If you're ever lucky enough to visit their incredible kingdom, remember to stay calm, stay aware, and give the true king of the Arctic all the space he deserves. And that really leaves us with a much bigger question to ponder, doesn't it? As our human world and the wild world intersect more and more, it's not just about surviving a rare encounter. It's about figuring out how to coexist. How can we make sure that both we and these magnificent animals have a future on this planet together?